Hey guys, it's Holly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a video in honor of my 22nd birthday. That was earlier this week. It was on Wednesday the 12th of August and I turned 22. I think I just said that. So today I thought I would celebrate my birthday in a way that is purely for your entertainment, because it's been a little bit painful gathering all of this information up for myself. I'm kind of exposing myself and all the dumb things I've done over the last 22 years of my life, and I thought that I would also try and give you some advice, learning from other people's mistakes. See, I did all of these stupid things so that you don't have to. And now if you do any of these stupid things after seeing this video... Okay, so basically I'm just going to list off 22 dumb things that I've done in 22 years. These are somewhat specific, they all have a little story behind them, but I'll keep it short and sweet. And yeah, if you guys like this idea, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button, and let's get into the video.
Number 1.
Genocide and gentrified are two words you should never mix up. I was talking with my mate about a road that we love in my city that used to be kind of like alternative, I guess. It had all these funky stores and had all these alternative people there, and it's like a really great road. And we're talking about how it's changed and how the government's trying to make it more normal and stuff. And I nodded at her and was like, yeah, genocide. Completely meaning gentrified. I didn't even realize I had said the wrong one until about half an hour later when I was questioning why my friend had slightly distanced herself from me. I probably really freaked her out. But yeah, that was a big one.
Number 2.
Some people will just never learn their lefts and rights. I don't know my lefts and rights. I just cannot comprehend the concept of lefts and rights. I don't know what it is. I've never been able to tell my lefts and rights apart.
Number 3.
Pulling out someone's chair from underneath them as they sit down is only fun until you're the person on that chair. Then it sucks. This was something that I remember happening all the time in primary school, and it was a lot of fun. And then someone did it to me when I was 13 and I ended up breaking my back very severely, and I live in pain every day because of that. So don't do that.
Number 4.
Look both ways before you cross the road. Always. Seriously, look both ways. Every time. I have a story time on this on my channel already, but long story short, I got run over by a car because I ran out into the road and actually ran into a car and then got dragged underneath it because I didn't look to see if any cars were coming. Always look both ways, and then sometimes maybe just look again before you cross. I really should have listened when I was younger. I'm sure that's one of the first things people are taught, and I just somehow missed it.
Number 5.
Saying thank you to automatic doors is not normal, and people will think that you're really weird and not relate to you. Since I was in year 7, so I'd have been about 11, and the school I was at had lots of automatic doors, and I would just always say thank you without even thinking to the doors. And this turned into every time I go through automatic doors, I will always say thank you under my breath, but I used to say it out loud, and then I got a lot of people were very confused and picked up on the fact that I keep saying it without even skipping a beat. For me it was just so normal and something that I just did and didn't even realize I was doing. But if you also do that, then I get you, I understand you. But for everyone else out there that's watching this probably thinks we're not the smartest bunch, but I just think I'm extremely polite, you know? Those doors do a lot. They are opening and closing every day, and when they open and close just for you and make you feel so special, like you're entitled to walk through that threshold, then yeah, I'm gonna say thank you.
Number 6.
Most people don't like spiders, and so if you're constantly picking spiders up and trying to get people to hold them, it's unlikely they're going to want to be your friend. This one is something that I still do to this day, and I've kind of just embraced the fact that not everyone's going to want to be my friend. I love spiders. I've never really been scared of them at all, and so I'll sometimes try and show it to a friend, and usually I end up with no friend. But unless they also like bugs, then match me in heaven, marry that person. But if not, just be careful. People don't like that, and people will think that you're weird.
Number 7.
Perfume does not taste as good as it smells, unfortunately. This one I feel like everyone has discovered, but I thought I would still add it on. This also goes for soap and shampoo and body mist and pretty much anything in this world that smells nice. Flowers, they never taste as good as they smell. No matter what perfume you buy, don't keep trying all your perfumes and deodorants to see what they taste like. They all taste like shit. And I learnt that the hard way. By every time when I was a kid, I would try every single perfume I got. I would try every single deodorant. I would eat flowers and they never tasted good. And I learnt the very hard way that none of them are going to taste good, so just stop trying. And even if they did taste good, I'm pretty sure that like you're not supposed to consume whatever is used to make a perfume. So yeah.
Number 8.
Butterflies stink. Literally. They smell like death. I used to work in a zoo that had a butterfly house, so we had butterflies shipped in. I think it was like 2,500 or something butterflies a month that got shipped in, or every week or something. Like, we got a lot of butterflies shipped in that we had to hatch, and we had like hatch boxes and very, very hot temperatures. I can't remember exactly how many degrees we had to keep all the rooms, but you know, when things get hot and humid, things get smelly, and having butterflies stink. They just smell awful, and then having that amplified through a hot, stuffy room, and then adding in the fact that there was hundreds of butterflies in that room, they smell like death. They may look pretty, but like after working with butterflies so closely, I can't see them the same, because whenever I see a butterfly flying around now, all I can think about is how much they stink. Don't believe me? Go smell a butterfly.
Number 9.
Don't pick up white crumbly pieces of rock, because it's more than likely dried up dog shit. Found that out the hard way. I was away on holiday with my granddad and his partner, and I was kind of like exploring, looking around. My granddad was really cool because he was a forest ranger, so any leaf, any plant I picked up, he would be able to tell me what it was. And I remember picking up this white rock, and it was like chalky, and I was like, hey, like, what's this? And then his partner answered and was like, you should probably put that down, Holly. That is dog shit that's been dried up by the sun. I started picking up rocks after that.
Number 10.
Quad bikes are dangerous. This was the same year as when I got run over by a car, so I was just having a really bad year with motorized vehicles. But basically, I was on a quad bike, first time riding one. Dad goes, okay, you lead the way, and I go off a cliff. I was so lucky that my instinct in that situation was to clench my butt as tightly as I can so that I stayed on top of that quad bike all the way down the cliff into the blackberry bush. I'm just lucky that the bike didn't tip, it just kind of flew. And yeah, that wasn't fun.
Number 11.
Greece is not in Italy. Rome is. Rome is in Italy, not Greece. I think most people are looking at me being like, yeah. I was taking classics, which is classical studies, and we were doing this thing in class where we had like a card that had a question and answer on it, and like, so if someone said the question that you had the answer to, you'd say the answer, and someone said, which city is in Italy or something, and I very, very confidently put my hand up and yelled out Greece, and then carried on asking whatever question was on my card, thinking I got it right. And then I looked at everyone staring at me, trying to see whether I was serious or not, and I never lived that down throughout that whole year. Every time something about Rome or Italy or Greece came up, everyone would just look at me. So there's a little geography lesson for you guys. Don't mess up like I did.
Number 12.
Love weight is a real problem that we as a society need to talk about more. I have put on about 20 kgs since I met my boyfriend, and I think it was because before that I had very unhealthy eating problems and wouldn't eat enough, and so I was very, very skinny. And when I met him, I decided that like life was love no matter how big I got, and I tested that to the extreme, and now I'm desperately trying to look like how I used to, but like in a healthy way, of course. But yeah, love weight's definitely a thing that creeps up on you that you don't even realize until like one day you're in a changing room and you don't fit into your size 10 like clothes anymore, and you have a complete meltdown and you cry, and your mum has to drag you out of the changing room with like your mascara all over your face and sit you down and have a very serious conversation with you about how you have grown outwards. It was very traumatic, but I've accepted it now and I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, I love my body and I love the way I look and I love how curvy I am now.
Number 13.
Breathing is actually rather important and it helps knowing how to do it properly. So I was probably about 14 when I found out that I had a breathing disorder. I was in physio and we were doing some stretches and my physiotherapist said to like take a deep breath into my stomach, and I did, and then she's like, yeah, no, that's not right, and she tried to get me to breathe properly, like all the way down, and it wasn't working. And then she was like, oh, okay, you need to go see a breathing specialist. And then I saw a breathing specialist for years and learned how to breathe properly.
Number 14.
Listen to your mum. She's not always right, but she's gonna be right more times than she is wrong. This is something that took me a very long time to work out. I loved doing the complete opposite of what my mum told me to do. I think everyone does, and what I realized is actually, no, your mum's usually right, and when she's right, it means you don't have a problem. But if it's the odd occasion that she's wrong and she tells you to do something that's wrong, at least you can blame her for it, and then you're out of trouble.
Number 15.
Don't pour candle wax down the sink. This wasn't even that long ago. I was watching a DIY of someone having like a Bath and Body Works candle and emptying it out and then like making like a cute little planter or something. I can't remember exactly what the video was. They were breaking the wax up with a screwdriver and taking it out in chunks, and my immature mind was like, oh, I could do this so much faster. So I lit the candle, so it was only like a little bit left, waited till it was all melted wax, and then tipped it down the sink. As soon as the hot wax hit the cool metal pipes of the sink, it hardened, as wax does, and I clogged the sink pretty bad. And my dad had to come down, like, so it was the bathroom that was downstairs, so he had to come down with like the kettle, boiling it multiple times to just like melt that wax so it got through the pipes, and it could have potentially messed up our entire plumbing system in our house. So don't put candle wax down the sink.
Number 16.
Never look at the end of a jammed staple gun while still playing with the trigger, because you will more than likely end up with a staple in your forehead. This happened to me the first time I ever used a staple gun. I wasn't allowed many sharp, dangerous, or potentially dangerous tools as a kid. I was always the one that somehow got injured and messed them up and didn't use them correctly. And this was another case of that. Teacher asked me to help put some posters on the wall or something and handed me a staple gun, me never having used one before. Wasn't actually pushing the trigger properly, and I was like, oh, why won't this work? Turned the staple gun around so I could have a look at it, and then I pulled the trigger correctly, and a staple just like hit me straight in the middle of my eyebrows. It didn't go in very deep into my skin, like I didn't even have a scar or anything from it, but it did still get stuck there, and damn, it gave me the biggest fright of my life, and it made me realize that I should never own a gun.
Number 17.
Don't play with saws or any tools in general, but especially flimsy saws, as you're more than likely to get one stuck somewhere that hurts. And talking about me having tools that I should never have been allowed, I was helping my dad build a birdhouse. I thought it was so cool. I was cutting a really small piece of wood with a saw. I was flimming around the sword as you do, because I think I'm a knife dancer, and the serrated end got stuck in my leg. It didn't go in far, I just pulled it out and I had a big scratch. But yeah, don't play with tools in general, man. Leave them to the old adults.
Number 18.
Don't slam doors while playing tag. You might just chop off your little sister's finger. I was probably about 8 or 9, and we were playing tag with one of my childhood best friends, and I used to be very, very competitive. Me and my friend were it, so we were trying to chase my sister. Somehow, I don't really remember what happens, I just remember running, and then my sister running into a room and me trying to open the door, and then slamming it on her finger that fell off and had to get glued back on. Man, I'm awful. It's the only bone my sister's broken and I broke it for her.
Number 19.
Deep frying tongs doesn't really work out. It was my first ever job working in a kitchen. I was working at a fast food burger joint, and I showed up to work with my t-shirt on backwards, so that was a good first impression. And then I was being taught how to use a deep fryer to fry some chips. Fries, sorry for all the Americans out there, to fry some fries. I don't know how, but somehow ended up deep frying a pair of tongs. It was literally within the first 10 minutes of my shift, and my manager said like he'd been there for like 14 years and he was like, I've never seen anyone do that before. So that made me feel really great, and yeah, I only lasted 3 months at that job.
Number 20.
Pink bats are not real bats, unfortunately. Oh my god, okay, this one here was my parents' fault, because they let this go on until I was literally about 17. But ever since I was a child, I was always fascinated by the idea that pink bats lived in the ceiling. I thought that pink bats were real bats. They're not. They're like pink fiberglass. You put them in the walls so that your house stays insulation. They are pink fiberglass insulation, for those that didn't know what it is, but they're called pink bats. And as a kid, I literally thought that like we had bats living in our ceiling, and I love animals, so I would like try and plan ways to get into our attic, which was extremely unsafe. I never actually was allowed up there, to like catch a bat and have it as a pet. And it wasn't until we were moving house when I was about 16, I think I was 17 actually. I was 17 and I saw a like bag full of pink fiberglass that had pink bats written on it. I feel really betrayed by that actually. Damn, I was a stupid kid.
Number 21.
Just because your dad is a firefighter does not mean that you were born with all of this knowledge on how to put out fires, nor does it make you immune to starting fires. I have nearly burnt my house down on like more times than I can count. I just always walked around with this level of confidence, thinking that like the fact that my dad's a firefighter means that fires won't happen to me, because like it's in my genes to put them out and not start them. And yeah, no, basically I just learned that like anyone is capable of starting fires, even him. He just happens to have a bit of knowledge of how to put them out, and that's what he does for a living.
Number 22.
Sharp pencils are dangerous. I remember seeing a meme that went around recently being like, has anyone got any pencil lid like stuck in their hand from when they were a kid? And there's no way in hell you're gonna be able to see it on this camera, but I had a piece of pencil, well I think it's still there, stuck in my hand. I was like sitting on the mat in the library, and I was probably about 7 or 8, and I had a pencil in my hand, and I was like doing what kids do with like weird stuff, where I was like kind of like going like that with it and like hitting it on the ground, like yeah, and basically I went like that and it got stuck in my hand. Didn't hurt or anything, but it was stuck quite deep in my hand, and I didn't want the teacher to know what had happened, so I just like pretended to like that I was holding it by like sitting here with this pencil sticking out of my hand, and then I like scratched my head or something and you could like see it. I don't really remember what happened next, but I do remember being called out for it. Someone being like, is there a pencil stuck in your hand? And I was like, no. Yeah. How I made it to 22, I will never know. I hope this video made you feel better about yourself. If you haven't done many of these things that I've done, then you're welcome for me educating you, but also good for you. You're probably a lot smarter than I am. I reckon you guys should leave a dumb thing that you have done or a dumb lesson you've learned over the years in the comments down below. I would love to read through them. It would also make me feel less stupid, and maybe a little bit better about myself if you guys have also done some really dumb things. But yeah, these were just things that I've learned in 22 years, and I thought it would be quite nice to reflect on them, and yeah, expose myself a little bit for being such a freak, man. God, a lot of these things would have been so avoidable. I was just that weird kid, you know? But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, give this video a big thumbs up and hit the big red subscribe button down below. I post videos every single Saturday. Smile, be safe, and stay beautiful, and I'll see you in my next one. Adios.